mountain dog. Bobo's in all these clothes. It got Bobo too. Bobo, you poor thing. As you saw my dogs and from the title, that something attacked my dogs last night, or yesterday of the daytime. And I'm always saying to be careful, even in the woods where you think all the predators are eradicated, you gotta watch out because you don't know for sure. Nobody ever knows for sure. So man, it's hot, but as you've seen, I'll put those videos of my dogs again in case you missed it. But so I'm looking for black bear signs now, large bobcat signs. I know there's a pack of coyotes over here, it's like 10 or 12 coyotes, but these 3 dogs of mine are the meanest, strongest 3 dogs that I have. And so it surprises me that they all got chewed up like they did. And they don't have any defensive wounds on their mouth. They didn't like I don't even think they were trying to fight back so much. They were just trying to get away, because all the wounds are on the back ends of them, you know. And it very well could have been a bear. I've seen some large bobcats. I don't think the coyotes could have took them. The one dog is a pit bull, and they don't feel any pain at all while they're fighting. They just don't stop. And he's been in so many fights. Like it helps some. It helps some. And exposing him to new dogs helps some. And kittens, and he protects baby animals pretty good. So anyway, while I was gone, my dogs got chewed up. And the brindle dog, it's like a mountain cur. That dog's caught 2 deers by herself and killed them by herself with no help from any other dogs, just by herself. But I'm looking for this black bear that I assume killed these dogs, or hurt my dogs, because if I can find it, you know what's gonna happen to it. Yeah, I got extreme prejudice to anything that hurts my animals. Trying to find out where the dogs had their little encounter. It's the first thing, and then I'm gonna go from there. They're all too wounded too much to even come with me, so. Got a lot of cliffs. I've been seeing a little bit double all day, so I can't really tell if I'm in focus or not, so I apologize. Major cliffs here. It's good environment for predators, coyotes. I'm looking for tracks. Any sign. Especially where they struggled, if I could find that. It rained last night, so I can't track them. All the blood washed away, but right there's some sign. What is that? Alright guys, here we go. We got some tracks here. These are my dogs. I can tell they're tracks, I've seen them. They got large feet. My dogs are large, they're not small dogs. That's why it surprises me so much that, let me see, that they all 3 got messed up. Eastern Kentucky, so, you know, it's not likely any mountain lions are around. Go down through here, see if I can find where they... Crow's nose in here. Crows will give you away, buddy. They know to run, because to them I'm dangerous. So they call out and let all their crow buddies know. These raccoons come down here and catch these clams. Come on, clam. Get into focus, clam. And they crack them open and eat them. They eat the clams. They eat the, there's all kinds of them here, mussels. They eat the crawdads, crayfish. It's amazing what they find and eat. This is where I turned Jeremiah loose, that coon that I helped that had it fall. He ended up being blind in one eye and a little bit, what do you call it? He wasn't 100%. His heartbeat would, I never saw an animal, their heartbeat, anytime their, ever beat, the poor little coon's whole body would move. But while I had him and rehabilitated him, he grew about, I'd say he weighed about 10 pounds when I found him, 10 or 12 pounds. And when I let him go back early spring, it was still cold, he probably weighed about 20 pounds. So he grew about twice the weight. So, but yeah, he would just, his whole body would jerk every time his heart would beat. These fish are jumping out of the water catching these bugs. That's the little shiners jumping up. Little sucker fish and shiners. They jump up and get these bugs. That's the little insects that skirt around on the top of the water. This place is so gorgeous. This place in eastern Kentucky has a good sized creek. This is a different place than I was at the other day. This creek is almost 100 miles. It's a river, in my opinion. And we're way up it right now. You get down in the low end of the waters, it's up big. It's always running. But got a natural clearing here. I haven't seen any evidence of a bear or any kind of big predator here. My dogs haven't been over here. I'm gonna go back and go a different way. I do see something over here that's really interesting. Can you see that? Just hang on. I think it's the barn. It's a barn. I knew I heard something a while ago. So, if that deer's here and it's not afraid, we're all right. Did you hear it blow? So we got, as I was going to show you, here's a barn built. Crows are at me again. Man, there's a lot of bugs. I didn't have a black shirt to wear today, so I wore this white one. So somebody's storing a boat in there. So it's probably an empty barn, except at night. I'd say the coyotes probably sleep in it. Oh, that's creepy. That's like a whale or cellar. No, I am not going in there. I'm not opening that thing. Oh, it's so gorgeous here. Check that out. Yeah, I know you can't hardly see. If you were here, this was what you could be seeing. I got the camera set at a realistic zoom where everything looks as big as I see it. Take you up through here, through the jungle. Stink. Oh my gosh, it stinks. You don't want to be breaking that stuff off. Now this one here, see this one? This is a spicewood tree. Oh, it smells good. It tends to get your human scent, kind of masks it a little bit. Smells good. Smells like, not hardly like peppermint, but like, I don't know. Oh, it smells good though. I wish you could smell it. If you know what spicewood is, it just smells like deep forest, like a jungle full of flowers. I'll put it that way. Hopefully it doesn't attract a bunch of insects. And it might. Now this other stuff is the opposite. This stuff here, it looks like the same thing, except the leaves are a lot bigger. That stuff stinks. You don't want to touch that. You don't want to dig it up. It'll make you nauseous. It's so strong. It will make you nauseous. The root on this thing, it's awful. I bet you've never smelled anything like that. Now, I don't know the real name for this plant right here. The real name for this plant is beyond me. I don't know. These are called spicewood trees. I know what they are, so what's the difference, right? These are called, I call them stinkroot. Gosh. You've never smelled anything like that. That is a unique smell. And it stinks. That is an old cellar in this barn. I'm not looking in there. Or a well. I saw a black snake earlier that was like 6 feet long. Cow snake, they call them corn snakes. See them in cornfields a lot, like eating those mice. They're long, dude, they're long. Like they're 6, 7, they could be very long. That one was at least 5 foot, maybe 6 foot. It's hard to tell when they're crawling away from you. There ain't nothing up here. If somebody was in here, they could scare the lights out of me. The daylights. It's dark to be in the middle of the day. I carry protection with me. I've got a 9mm Withers 9mm nice shooting gun and a 7.62 by 25 Russian gun, handgun. It's really strong. If I had a 45 caliber gun or a 40 caliber, it would be better for like bear protection or big cats or anything. This is all I got. I got the 7.62, shoots a pretty good size round. And it's strong. And a 9mm is a 9mm. Tried and true. Got this little worm here that I just saved out of the water. Evidently he fell out of the ground, or out of the air, off a tree, from landing in the water. The fish were trying to get him. He was floating on the surface. Now, coincidentally, this is one of the most dangerous worms in eastern Kentucky. I don't know what it's called. Like I said, I don't know the proper names for things, but I know what they are and I know what they do. That is one dangerous stinging worm right there. I'm half tempted to get him over here in the brush because he's got a long way to go. I don't mind wildlife to help the worms and the bees and the snakes and these things that I can't hardly stand to be around, as long as we're out in the wilderness. But if they're in the house, they gotta go. If they're in my yard, they gotta go. If they're in my direct habitation, if I gotta leave my yard, I leave them alone. I don't bother. I try to help them. Maybe he can get down there a little bit and just hang out on that root. Hope it does all right. You think about stuff when you're a kid that kind of ingrains itself into you. Man, that stupid camera, I tell you. Yeah, that's a black-headed stinging worm. That's what I call it. They hang out in trees, limbs, brush. They don't stay on the ground much because, like, you can see it so far away. You see those little silver flat. There's one right there. That's a shiner. I wish I could get closer, but I can't. They're way over there. So I'm still looking for these dogs where they got into trouble at. I ran out of water. So yeah, I drink the water right out of the streams. This is a spring-fed stream here. It comes right out of the hillside, but this is really dry time. Here it is. It rained last night, and there's still dust. There's still dust on the roads, and in the creeks, and in the this and that. But there's me and other people that do what I do, that like to hang out and go around hiking and checking out things. They drink out of the creeks, and I do too. There's a chance that you'll get giardia, or, you know, I don't know, you'll swallow insect larvae and get sick. That's happened to me before. Luckily, I just got over it after a couple hours. It was a very serious thing, though. And I wasn't in the woods when I got sick. I was home. And it was, so, I don't know, it was a bad thing. So, I don't recommend it unless you guys have drank out of streams from your area. Let me re-say this. I won't go to another part of the country like the Midwest, California, or the Gulf Coast, Atlantic Coast, Maine, Canada, Alaska. I won't drink out of the streams there. I won't, but I'm not from there. I've drank out of these streams all my life in eastern Kentucky and in Appalachia. I've drank out of them in West Virginia, eastern Ohio. There's hills and mountainous areas in Ohio, believe it or not. It's in the kind of eastern, southeastern, and eastern up in West Virginia. I think that's it. West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky. But the reason I do that is because I've drank out of these streams all my life, and I've built up a tolerance to a lot of things, a lot of bacteria and such that you might get. So here we are. I finally made it to the thing. I'm getting it off of this here moss because it's cleaner. You know, it's already clean, but it'll just take a few minutes longer to get it. You can guarantee you're not gonna get sick. Oh, I got a fly in my hair. Oh. So that wasn't a fly. That was a yellow jacket. There's a yellow jacket's nest up there around that spring. After my big confident speech about being alright to get spring water and me walking all the way up to where it comes out of the ground so we make it look better for a dramatic series. Well, I got stung by yellow jackets because I was too busy messing around with videoing to pay attention to what I'm around. So I'm gonna sneak back up here. They got me twice here, one on my shoulder, one on my back. If you're allergic to bee stings, be sure to take an EpiPen. I've never gotten too much out of bee stings, but I don't know. I mean, why would they be right there in the? Let's see why they're there. It's a really odd place to have a hornet or a yellow jacket's nest. Those were yellow jackets, I'm pretty sure, because they were pretty small. Dangerous little fellas. They sting. I mean, they don't care. It makes me laugh because they're not even provoked. You never provoke them. Unless you try, you step on their nest or something, but most of the time, yellow jackets, if they see you and you're within a certain distance of their home nest, whether you know it or not, they're going to get you. I don't understand. Let's see if I can find a nest. I see them. I see yellow jackets flying around. Yellow jackets, but I can't find where their nest is. It's got to be just right here on this hillside. That messed me up, I'll tell you that. Bad. I about fell and broke my leg. Don't panic. I panicked for just a half a second and I stopped. I stopped panicking once I realized it was only yellow jackets. You know, at first I thought it was flies, and then I realized it was a bee of some kind, and I was thinking it was those waspers that hang out and make their nests in grass. And those dudes are bad to the bone. They'll make their nests underneath the tree limbs and stuff like that. They're hard to see because you don't look for that kind of stuff. And those guys are bad news. So I panicked. And those big red waspers too that came up from the south a couple years ago, those are tough. They're kind of orange. But anyway, I panicked and I went about 2 steps and I stopped and I just quickly walked out of there. I'm glad I didn't injure myself. So let's get out here and go somewhere else. That concludes the lesson on drinking out of the creek. Alright, we made it up and out of the creek. We're now in a canyon type place. It's gorgeous here. I got this road that I use. It goes on out that way. So me, I'm always watching for tracks. No matter what I'm doing. There's a couple tracks here. There's actually 1, 2, 3 tracks there, so I believe that's my dogs. That'd be 3 dogs. Front, that big one is my cur. The next one behind that big one is my gray pit bull, and then the one on top of that one is my little blue. There's a little tarpon. It's a good place to look for tracks. It's around mud holes. Little tarpon. I'm not going to bother him. These little guys fascinate me. But he's in the water, taking it easy. See, I'm going to put him right here. I don't want to be the reason he drowns. I've seen turtles drown before. You know, I wish I had more time to go through all these places and look at all of it and check it out, you know. But there just isn't enough time. You can only walk so many miles, you know, in a lifetime. We got big deadfall, big mess down here. We'll go down here and check it out. I hope you guys really enjoy these videos because I enjoy making them. I wish everybody could come out and do what I do and go with me and be able to share all this. But I really enjoy doing it. I do. And those bees got me good. Man, they got me twice on my head. In my hair, they got tangled up in my hair and I couldn't get them out. I killed them. Then one got on my arm, up my sleeve. He got me too. That's an ash tree. Some beetles. Beetles got here from China, over from China. It was called the what's it called? Chinese emerald boring beetle or something like that. And it got into all these ash trees and killed them. This big one here is broken over. Bigfoot didn't break that. The beetles killed it. That one that's laying down right up through there. That's an ash tree. Those beetles killed. There's no more ash trees. They're all gone. All the ash trees are dead. Dead. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go back home. I only found one track that it may be, could be a bobcat, a cat of some kind. Didn't see any bear tracks. Seen a lot of dog tracks, raccoon, coyote, possum, deer, baby deer, turkeys. Say rabbit, horses. I don't know. It's about it. Mice and stuff like that at the mud holes. So be safe if you're going to go out hiking. Be safe and always take protection. Today, since I knew there's something that harmed my animals, I wanted to take enough. So I got this one here. It is a Russian gun, Chinese Russian. It's called a 7.62 by 25. I don't have a 40 caliber or 45 caliber. I might have already said this, but I got this one. It's my brush gun. It works great. It's pretty high powered. And of course I got the 9mm also. That's just a given. That's what I said earlier. Tried and tested and proved its usefulness. And then the things I brought with me was 2 bottles of water, and then I refilled one. I've already drank those, so take plenty of water with you. If I'm gone all day, I'll drink more than a gallon, especially if I'm walking a lot. It pays to take Benadryl or something for bee stings. Take, what else do I got? I got a bottle in this bag of Excedrin for migraines, headaches, migraines. And I got some heartburn medicine if you happen to get heartburn, just things that you might need. What else? Some other, I forget, aspirin maybe. I got a knife. I got a cell phone. And I got my location on. I think I turned it on right so that my wife can tell where I'm at if I have service, or maybe it works without service. I don't know. And just take things with you for the ticks, because the turkey mites and the ticks are so bad here. They make this stuff called tick tape, and it's like double-sided tape, and you take it and you wrap a piece around your pant leg, and I do it in like 3 places. I don't have them on right now, but put it at the bottom, at the knee, and below the thigh height, and anything that's crawling up your pant legs, man, that bee sting hurts. Anything that's crawling up your pant legs will get stuck on a tape, and they work really good. You can put one inside, like on your socks, because they go up your boots and get in your socks and all that stuff. They work really well. What else do I have? Water is really important. What else? A knife. I got flashlights. I got one flashlight with me today, and of course my cell phone battery. What else? I think that's about it. And I got a good understanding of where I go always. There's no chance of me getting lost unless you get amnesia or something like that, and you fall and hit your head, stuff like that. So just be safe, be aware. Now I'm gonna start back. It's a couple miles back home. If I see anything interesting, this may not be the last shot here. There may be another one. So I appreciate you guys liking, subscribing, and I'm gonna say hey to Antonio. Antonio, he's on his way day before yesterday, he was on his way to Texas. Me and him made a deal. He's a very pleasant young man, probably in his 20s, early 20s. He may have been older, but he looked in his early 20s, late. He might have been around 20. Antonio, if you're out there, I'm glad I met you, buddy. You seem like a really nice young man, very respectful. Said he was going to Texas from here. What was it he needed? We made a deal. I'm not going to say what he needed or whatnot. And hopefully he stuck to his side of the deal. He seemed like he had good character. So we made a deal. I'll probably never see the man again. But Antonio, You're a good dude. Keep on doing right. Don't let nobody get you down. All right. This place is awesome. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. You know, one more thing. In my area where I live at, there's not a lot of woodsman type people that can get around, you know, like I do, or that go around like I do. They even enjoy it. There's a lot of hunters and things, but they just go out on the trails and hunt. They don't get in here and walk around and really look at every inch of the earth, you know, and the hollers and hills and stuff like that. And there's another guy in my area that I know for sure. He's like me. He gets out, he goes, he looks for medicinal plants and roots. You know, like ginseng and rattleweed, bloodroot, yellow root, ginseng, bloodroot, rattleweed, which is black cohosh. Stuff called ramp. It's pretty good. You can get about $300 a quart for the dried leaves. You know, you get that stuff what you need, and you can sell it to people or whatever. And what is that other root? I forget. Sassafras root, sassafras leaves for making tea. There's a lot of things you can do. It's a hobby. It's not. You could make a living on it, but you'd have to find a place. Like if you were a hermit and you went into the woods and was gonna live in the woods forever, you know, you would have to grow a garden. You'd have to carve out a spot to grow a garden and be able to have a canner or a way to can or dry meats like they did in the old days, smoke them and dry them out, and vegetables to last through the winter, because you can't gather enough. One person can't gather and hunt enough to make it through the winter and find enough clothes and be able to clothe yourself and keep warm, because it gets cold here, and it's cold here from like December. That's when it starts getting real cold. The nights get cold in November, October, November, and then in December, January, and February, and March, and April, it gets too cold to be living outside. Unless if you're a group, you know, a group of people, maybe 5, 6 people could hang out together and probably make it work. But everybody would have their tasks. But it is you know, if you got an imagination to live off grid and just live in the woods and be like Davy Crockett, hunt and dig roots and stuff and get a good spring for water, well, that's good. But you're gonna need something to keep you warm. You need a shelter, a good one. Good way to build a fire. Even if it's a teepee is a good shelter. That's a permanent home. You can live in one of those big buckskin teepees for life. You build you a fire in the middle, keep it warm in there. And like I said, you'd have to grow a garden. You need some fruits and vegetables, which there are some pear trees and apple trees scattered, but they are very few and far between. And finding one in the woods, just by luck, you'd probably win the lottery before you did that. There's walnut trees, a lot of walnut trees, and you gather blackberries and raspberries, possum grapes and stuff like that, but you're still going to need some sustenance through the winter. It was tough. But it is a good idea, and I hope people do it. You know, it's a good way to live. If I see something interesting, I will video it. If not, I'll see you later. Like and subscribe. Go outside. Spend some time outside. Look out for your neighbor. Help them for free. You know, one of the most important commandments is treat your neighbor as yourself. You know, goes love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy mind, all thy soul, and then love your neighbor as yourself. If you do those 2 things, you would never have a problem. Never have a problem if you did that. You say, how is that? Well, if you love God, then you're going to do like him. If you love your neighbor like you do love yourself, then you're going to treat everybody as your neighbor. So you're going to treat all of them like gold, and you're not going to cheat on your taxes or nothing like that, because God loves honest people, and you're going to be honest. So, but we live in a fallen world where even Christians, all Christians sin a lot. I'm glad that my sins aren't written down, you know, on my door every morning, so I got to see them as I go in and out to work. But man, some of us have a hard time. Some of us everybody has, you can't say nothing against your fellow Christian until you walk a mile in their shoes. If you're in their boots, in their circumstances, you know, everybody's got stuff to deal with, and it's always tough. It's not as tough as in some places. We got it pretty cozy here in America, comfortable, and I thank God for it. It's a blessing.